So with that, we have completed the interview questions related to KPI. So the next one is on the stakeholder meetings or agile ceremonies. So the customer has outsourced a project to a remote team which uses Scrum. Due to the time zone issues, the users are rarely able to participate in the reviews and give feedback through they would like to. What is the best solution that the Scrum Master can suggest? Okay, so in order to rephrase the question, let me put it this way. So let's put the product owner in this situation. The product owner works from a different country, and the development team, the product development team or software development team is in a different country. So the team is supposed to give the demos to the product owner or pre-demos to the product owner once the product is developed or the user stories are developed. But what happens is that during the review meetings, it happens among the Scrum Master and the team, but the product owner is unable to attend. So how the Scrum Master would handle the situations? Or another scenario is if the Scrum Master, the development team, product owner, everyone is available. As a product owner, how would you handle the situation? So it depends upon the interview you might be attending. The question might be tweaked in relation to your role, how you would handle the situation. Yeah. So it depends upon the needs of the customer, right? So the customer, if they say that I don't want to attend the review meetings, but what I would do was, if the recording is available, I can go through the recordings and I can get back to you with my feedback, yeah, in a forum, or we can have another meeting to share the feedback, or we can post it on the tool itself, part of the user story in Azure DevOps or Jira, Trello or Asana, whatever the tool we are using, right? They can post it in the user story itself in the comment section saying that I have tested this feature, this is how it's working for me. Could you please investigate these issues? So something like that, the customer can post it if it is available via recording. They can watch the demo and they can find out the issue. But the best possible solution is that to find out a time slot that suits everyone's availability. So if the customer is available in the UK hours, and if the team is in Singapore, so we can try to see end of the shift for the development team and the early hours, morning hours for the UK team where the customer is. We can try to patch a meeting during that time so that if the customer is available on that at that time, we can schedule a meeting and then we can patch them. So that is the best option. And so what you can say is, as a scrum master, I would try to do remote meetings as the time zones are different, the teams are globally distributed. So you would say that you do a live demo for the product owner and customer from the remote team via meeting, virtual conference, right? And there are a lot of tools available like Zoom or Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, or Skype, whatever the tool that is used in the project for collaboration. So we can um, catch up using those tools to connect virtually and remotely with the team, and we can give the demo and we can get the feedback very early instead of doing a recording and then the customer watches it and then the customer gets back to us. So it will be a very interactive demo when the live audience are available to view the recently developed features and functionality. Yeah, and I have already explained this situation that they can create a blog or forum or a community page where they can go and post the recordings and the customer can watch it and give feedback once they are available. Yeah. So the thing is that we need to understand the concerns from both parties, that the team might be feeling that they are staying back late after their work is done during the Singapore hours, and but the customer might be frustrated that they are unable to see the demo and participate in the reviews. They are unable to give the feedback as quick as possible. There is a delay in getting the feedback and then doing the rework. So we need to understand as a scrum master from both sides what are all the challenges, and we need to bridge the gap between both the teams. And we should be very creative. As I said, we can use a lot of tools available, and in order to patch the different time zone, we can find a time slot that suits both the parties. So it could be middle of the day for the Singapore team. It could be start of the shift for the UK hours for the customer to start their day. So we can find out the time when they can meet, and then they can give a demo. So we should think of those possible solutions and tools that we can leverage. And we should be patient enough as a scrum master, or it could be anyone, the product owner, or it could be the development team. We should be patient enough to understand the concerns and to find a solution. Yeah. So the next one is on the sprint retro meeting. So during the sprint retrospective meeting, the scrum master ran a quick poll of each team member about how they felt about the achievements of the sprint. Half of the team, mostly the developers, felt the sprint went really well and the team got a lot of done. Other team members, mostly testers and other specialists, felt the work was not felt the work was not completed, and the sprint should not be considered a success. So based on this information, as a scrum master, what you would focus on? This is how they would ask you. Okay, so let's understand the question first. Okay, so the thing is that during the retrospective meeting, it's not necessarily the scrum master needs to run a poll, because the retro meeting itself to reflect on the things went well, the things did not go well, and what are all the improvement ideas the team can propose. And so in this case, the developer feels that they have achieved everything as planned, but the testers and other specialists, they feel that they were not able to complete, or they don't feel it's a successful one. So the scenario could be like the development team had enough time to develop the work, but the testers and other specialists who are involved in the sprint activity, they did not have adequate time. That could be one of the scenario. So let's consider this scenario, and let's see how we would patch up the situation as a scrum master. Yeah. So we need to understand different perspectives. There are two different perspectives here. One half of the team feels that it went really well. It was really great. They have done a lot. But the other half of the rest of the team, they feel the other way around, that it should not be considered a successful sprint. Yeah. So we need to facilitate a discussion if we do not have adequate time during the sprint retro meeting itself to discuss what went wrong, and what can be improved from the testers and other specialists in front of the development team as well, because everyone has to be there, participative, listening to each other to come to a common ground, what we are going to start implementing from the very next sprint, or when we can agree on the action items to kickstart or to be completed. So we need to agree on the action items. So we need everyone to be participative. So we need to facilitate a discussion to come to a shared understanding when everyone is available. Yeah. And then the scrum master should start by listening to different perspectives of team members. The developer may feel that the sprint was a success because they were able to deliver the code. As I said, the testers and other specialists, they feel that it was not a success because their work is not yet completed. There are a few defects that are not yet resolved by the developers. Yeah, but the development team did not have enough time because the sprint was already over, and even the tester has to do the rework, retesting all those bugs or defects once it's resolved in the next sprint. So it adds further task for the testing team. That's the reason they feel that it's not a successful one, because we caused a lot of defects. It's a defective product that we have delivered end of the sprint. That's the reason the tester might feel that way. And when we say other specialists, it could be the product owner, the business analyst. They feel that there are a lot of bugs, there are a lot of defects, because of which it's not a successful sprint. Okay, so once we listen to all these different perspectives, we should facilitate a discussion to help the team to come to a shared understanding of the sprint's achievements. The goal of the discussion is to help the team to understand why the developers felt the sprint was a success, and why the testers and other specialists, they feel it was not a successful one. Yeah. And then We can use a variety of techniques to facilitate the discussion, such as asking open-ended questions, right? So like you say that you have developed the code as needed, but why the testing team might be feeling that it's not a successful sprint. We can ask such an open-ended question instead of a closed-ended question, like do you feel this sprint went really well, or do you feel that the sprint did not go well? Do you agree that the testing team standpoint? So it's a closed-ended question. They can say yes or no. But when you're asking an open-ended question, that would make them be creative and be very open to come up with a lot of viewpoints. They can share their ideas. They can list down their standpoint. So listening actively and summarizing the key points would help you to come to a shared understanding from all the parties involved in the discussion. Yeah, the goal is to help the team to reach a shared understanding of the sprint's achievement and to identify any areas of improvement. That is the main goal for the sprint retro meeting. So once the team has reached a shared understanding of the sprint's achievements, the Scrum Master can help the team to identify any areas for improvement. So once we identify the areas, or once we have decided what needs to be improved, we need to plan the improvements, how we are going to implement it. So the team needs to say that okay, they can pick up these improvement ideas that can be started immediately in the very next sprint itself. And a few things they might feel that okay, we cannot implement it right away, we might need more tool or techniques, they might need more trainings. Say for an example, if there are a lot of bugs or defects, the team doesn't know how to write a good quality code, or they might need some training. So when we can plan the trainings, when the team would be available to attend the trainings? Is it going to be during their working days, or is it going to be during the weekends when they are ready to spend a day or two to complete the training? Is it going to be on their own that they are going to learn it during their weekends, or we are going to plan something from the organizational standpoint using the facilities available from some other project? We can bring in some senior developers or architects to conduct those trainings, so we can plan all those things. So this is the additional tips the Scrum Master should keep in mind, that yeah, we should respect both the perspectives, right? The developer says that it went really well, for the tester it did not go well, so we need to respect both the perspectives. Only then we can come to a shared understanding what can be improved, how it can be improved. And we should be neutral. We should not take the sides of the testers. We should not blame the developers for the defects, because the defects could be related to the environmental issues or configurational issues. It may not be the developer's code which caused the defects. So we don't know what was the actual root cause for the defects. It has to be investigated further. Yeah. So we should be very neutral instead of taking the sides of the development or testing to advocate one side over the other. Right. We should be neutral. And we should be patient enough to come to a shared understanding. We should not give up on listening to both the parties involved and come to a common ground of understanding. The next one is an enterprise architect from a company who was conducting a technical review of a product. During the review, he suggested the team consider using the latest UI framework to enable their web portals for mobile and tablet devices in keeping with the latest trend. He followed up a week later, asking the team whether they were doing anything about it. How should the team respond? So, excuse me. It's not just related to the Scrum Master. So it's this could be to a developer, or it could be a question to the architect itself. If you're attending an interview for a Scrum Master, let's see how the Scrum Master would handle this situation. What are all the things the Scrum Master would enable the team to listen to the architect, to understand more from the architect? Likewise, how the team is supposed to, if you're a developer, if you're a tester, how you are supposed to handle this question during the interview. Yeah. So let's understand the question first. There is an enterprise architect, and he's conducting a technical review. During the review, he suggests the team consider using the latest UI, keeping in mind that the latest trend is moving towards mobile and tablet devices from the web portals, right? people on the go, they start using the websites on their mobile and tablets. They don't tend to visit the web portals on laptop or desktop computers nowadays. So keeping that trend in mind, the architect is suggesting that we consider the latest UI frameworks instead of using the legacy UI framework, which works only on the web portals, not compatible with the mobile and tablet. So that's the reason he suggested. But after suggesting that, after a week, he would be curious to know what are all the efforts taken by the team, whether they were able to do anything about it, or they are stuck somewhere so that the architect can help them. So how the team is supposed to respond? First and foremost is, as soon as there is a review, when someone suggesting something, we should respond to them saying that thanks for the suggestion, and we will explain the current situation, what we are into, whether we do have the time to do the latest UI framework adaptation, whether we do have time to create a spike to investigate how we can make it more mobile and tablet friendly, or do we have the adequate bandwidth to rework on the code. Yeah, we need to see that, and then we should explain the benefits to the team as well, right? So if you are a scrum master, you should facilitate a discussion among the team if they don't understand the benefits of the latest UI framework adaptation. Then the scrum master should facilitate a meeting or discussion section or a training session from the architect to the development team. And then once they understand the benefits, they might be having some challenges also. So that session would help them to um, probe those questions. It could be time consuming, it could be the effort related the team needs to put in order to upgrade the platform to mobile friendly or tablet friendly. And the team might be having a fear or risk of introducing new bugs in the existing features and functionality. So the team may not be comfortable adapting the UI framework, so they can discuss all those things during the session itself. And the team can directly ask the architect during the session itself for his or her advice, how the team can go about it, upgrading the new framework, and what are all the challenges they might encounter from his previous or her experience that he or she would have seen while implementing the sort of new framework transformation or adaptation. What are all the things he would have done? Okay, so if it happens on an email, it's if it is not a face-to-face communication, if it is happening over an email, the review happens, and then he drops an email. The architect's email has been sent to the team, keeping the Scrum Master in loop. As we know that the team needs to be self-organized, so the Scrum Master or the product owner doesn't need to be involved, but still they can copy them while responding to the architect saying that thanks for your suggestion, we appreciate your insights into the latest UI framework, and that is one way to start the email. And we can say that we are currently considering using the latest UI framework to enable our web portals for mobile and tablet devices. We believe that the benefits of using the new framework outweigh the challenges. However, we are concerned about the risk of introducing bugs. We would appreciate your advice on how to mitigate the risk. They can say that we are happy to implement the changes, but these are the support we need from you or from someone. They can keep the product owner to consider the time that might be needed to upgrade these platforms to the newer framework. And in that meantime, so whatever the work that is going to be proposed by the product owner may not be able to accommodate by the team. So keeping the product owner and scrum master in loop while responding to the architect would enable them to be up to date on the things that are happening in the behind the scenes. Yeah, so first and foremost is that we should respect everyone's perspective. Here the architect is the one, so he's a senior one, so he has the expertise in the domain, and he knows what are all the things that are happening around in the other projects, other companies. So we should respect his expertise, and we should be very clear and concise. So when we say that we are okay to accept the proposals, we are ready to accommodate the new framework implementation. We should be very clear and concise, saying that um, And these are the things that we are looking for the support from the architect. Likewise, the architect should ensure that the communication is very clear and concise. It doesn't have much of technical jargons that the architect would be able to understand, but the team may not be able to understand. Yeah, so these are the things that we should keep in mind, and we should be open to feedback. Both the parties, the architect as well as the team, they should be open to feedback from both the sides. So if you are a scrum master, if you're attending an interview, if this question is thrown to you, you should say that you would enable all these things. And if you're a product owner, if this scenario is thrown at you, you can say that, yeah, as a product owner, I would try to understand the time required from the team, and I would engage the scrum master and architect to plan it better. Further, how the latest UA framework can be accommodated, and what are all the roadmap that is planned for the latest UA framework adaptation. So I would enable those discussions further instead of being pushed to pick up or create user stories related to these requirements. You would say that you would be proactive. So during a retro meeting, the team agreed that their sprint duration is 3 weeks was insufficient to deliver with good quality. They felt a 4 week sprint would help reduce the severity of the issues. The Scrum Master asked them to consider reducing the duration to 2 weeks instead. Why did the Scrum Master make such an unexpected suggestion? So let's understand the question first. So let's understand this scenario from the Scrum Master perspective first. So you are attending the interview for the Scrum Master role, and you have been given a scenario like during a retrospective meeting, the team says that they need 4 weeks instead of a 3 week to deliver a good quality work. So how you would enable the team, or what you would suggest the team to work on? So what you can say is, as a Scrum Master, I would suggest the team to take a shorter sprint, because during the shorter sprint, the team delivers something in 2 weeks, and end of the 2 weeks, they get a feedback from the product owner or from the customer that will help them to get more insights on the feature delivered and how it can be improved further.